Okay, today it's going to be a really specific tutorial on falling and how to avoid it as you have your birthdays. And we're going to do that with strength training. So I started us off, and when people come on early, I start to address their issues. So I do a little bit of personal training. And so the ones that came on early this morning, of course, is recovering from a hamstring injury. I have several with a hamstring injury. So what am I starting to do? I'm starting to warm up with a step and a drop. So it's a step. So instead of warming up, see, I'm going to use those muscles. So I need to warm up those muscles. And yeah, general walking around will do a warm up. However, we're going to be very specific on some things today. So see what I'm doing? I'm simply stepping out. I'm dropping my back knee a tiny bit. And if you do this repeatedly, don't go into the, I don't need to pay attention zone, because this is the very muscles that we have to really keep the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the bones around this kind of a move. So as I step out like that a couple of times, I do all of the warm up that I'm trying to do. And I'm doing this on the cup of the news that I'm sure everybody's heard it by now, if you're listening to news at all. Ivana Trump died from a fall. Now, who knows if she was on something? I don't know. That hasn't come out. You probably might never know. Here's the thing I do know, though. I knew that she needed to be very glamorous, and to do that, she thought she needed to wear. She made the statement one time that she could do anything better in high heels. Okay. Well. I don't know if she had high heels on when she fell, but she did, and she's dead now. Okay, falls are a big deal. And anybody out there that's taken a little fall, a stumble, whatever, you know it's a big deal. So I'm going to address some of that stuff. So what am I doing? I'm stepping out repeatedly. I'm not just merely walking, shuffling. Every time I'm stepping out right now and dropping that knee, I'm pulling my rib cage up. I'm pushing my chin in. This is so important in your lineup. This needs to become a natural feeling to you. And for some of you, it's a real struggle to do what I'm doing right now with my head, neck, hip, and core, as well as stepping out, shifting weight, not over leaning. Okay, so if you have joint issues, injuries, those are all the things that we tend to do. And I have my chair here because, see, if I notice that I'm doing that, especially this is my challenge side as far as stability goes, because this is my hip replaced, I will put my hand on a chair and just stay lined up. Now I'm going to do what I started with several people coming on. I'm just going to lift my knee a little bit. Okay. Now, if you just now did that right here, if you just now did that and you went into a knee lift, my guess is you locked your leg, especially if you have an injury on one side versus the other side. Okay. And I don't care if it's a hamstring. I don't care if it's a wonky hip. I don't care if it's a plantar fascia issue. I don't care if it's an Achilles tendonitis issue. You are going to do compensatory moves to avoid pain, which that's just what you do. So you see what I'm doing as a warm up here? I got my hand here. I'm pressing into it a little. And as I press into this, I'm saying to myself, is my knee locked? Or have I softened it the way I want you to do? My guess is if you don't think about it and you go into a knee up position, like we're doing for a warm up right now, you lock your knee, and or you overlean, and or you flex forward. You do this. Okay? So don't do those. Don't do those kind of compensatory moves. Do okay or acceptable compensatory moves, which is putting my hand here. That helps me line up my joint function. I hope this is making sense to you. I spent a long time studying this, not only on other people, but myself, okay? And unlike a lot of instructors, there are some that have to overcome certain injuries and so forth. I became well versed in that when I was probably, I don't know if I was quite 20, it was 19 or 20 when I blew my ACL. See how I'm doing a step, 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 and I'm lifting? Okay, I'm using core muscles. I'm using all my leg muscles. I'm using my foot balancing maneuvers. I'll use this when I think I need it. If I tend to lock my knee, overlean, lean out, yes, I will put my hand here. Anyway, I learned to move differently. And it was one of my specialties. I have special certifications actually in rehab and youth fitness. And some of these bad habits happen in youth when kids have been injured, or they just have been introduced to wrong movement patterns. Okay, so see how we did a series of that, and I stayed in there for a while because I want to warm up these muscles that some of you have injured. Then I went to here and I used my chair to help line up, not to lean into. That's two different things, okay? So if I use this to line myself up, I'm gonna tuck my chin, I'm gonna shift, and whenever I start to pull my heel to my hip is where some of you are gonna go, whoa! Because you know what you just did? You probably did this and you probably ranked it up there and you pulled it in too tight. So you don't wanna do that. You wanna squeeze the muscle. You wanna shift, squeeze the muscle. Shift, squeeze the muscle. Yeah? Say rib cage up, shift, squeeze the muscle. And I'm trying to use my hands here, smaller and smaller usage of my hands here. But if I notice even for a split second, and see how I'm tapping back here and I'm going up from there, this is actually an advanced position. If you have a significant injury in your hamstring, you need to stay at the first position, which is my thighs are together. I lift my heel to my hip and I don't take my knee back significantly, okay? Now, if you're good to go and you can keep aligned and tap your toe here and then pull the heel to the hip, well, God bless you, okay, do it. But if you're not there yet, do not sneak into that positioning. Okay, this positioning, you stay here, okay? It's little things like this that I tend to specialize in because these little moves are huge when you are recovering from injuries and or your body parts just are not working quite the way that they would, especially if you have a replaced hip, replaced knee, whatever, okay? So now that I've done that, I'm gonna stand right here. And this one today is I'm gonna really hone in on a lot of fall prevention stuff. So my chair's here, I've done forward flexion, and then back extension of my quad, my hip joint, okay? Extension and flexion, okay? Back, forth, okay. Then I'm gonna step in the middle, and here's what's gonna happen. We're going to start right off, and we're going to start picking up some weights here in just a second. Okay. So as I'm stepping here, I'm going to warm up my upper body. Now, some of you might say, well, we haven't done anything on the upper body. Oh, no. Let me correct that. If you've been in here from the minute that we started, and see what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both feet toe first on the edge of my pillow. Let me turn to the side so you can really see what I'm doing. Okay. And I'll move this over here. Because anytime you do balance work, warm up work, weight work, body weight training, spongy pillows, a very compliant surface versus cement, non-compliant. Look at my heels. Okay. I'm dropping them, but I'm not straightening or locking my knees. No, I'm keeping my rib cage up. I'm dropping my heels, and then I'm going to go into my toes and go up into a spongy, very wonky toe lift, or I guess I should say heel lift. So it's a heel lift, and then you drop all the way down without locking your knees. See, I'm not locking them right now at all. They're bent. They're soft. I should say they're soft. My hand is over here on my chair. I'm lining myself up. I'm rocking from my heel. Now I'm going into my heel lift, and I'm trying to notice how hard am I gripping the chair. Okay, that's very important. As a matter of fact, if I were with you only, I would be looking at your hand to see how purple your fingers are. Because if you're gripping that sucker, that's too hard, okay? If that was happening, you would say, well, I can't do that exercise. And I say, no, you have to modify it. You have to do it one at a time. See how I stepped off? If you're gripping your chair way too hard, then you do one at a time. Your toe is on the pillow, and you're going to go up with one foot on the floor. You're going to go up and drop the heel. You're going to go up and drop the heel. And you're going to do that repeatedly, okay, until you quit grabbing the chair so hard. You need to have it to stabilize you. Otherwise, you could be off in the floor. Right, Kay? I think Kay's on. Anyway, Kay has a good sense of humor about these things, which is required. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other one. My other foot is down on the floor. It ain't turned out like a duck. It's forward, okay? Then I'm going to go up into a heel lift with my knees soft and then touch my heel. Now lift the heel. And if you can lessen your grip on the chair, then I will give you a thumbs up. And if that's happening, then I will say, okay, try a few, both sides. Then go into two of them again. Now, at this point, everybody wants to lock their heels. It kind of feels good, you know. And then I'm going to say, well, when you do the work, that's fine. Really, really straighten them. Ribcage up. Okay, now soften them. And lift the heels together. It's going to be very wonky. Then go back to the heels. Don't lock your knees. Up. Okay, you need to, seriously, if you had serious injury, you have joint issues, you know you have balance issues for whatever reason, this little move that I'm doing right now, and I broke it down pretty good. You can do one or the other if you tend to, you know, be a slug and you tend to go back into bad habits, okay? See, this is a class for slugs because I'm pointing them out and I'm saying, it's okay, but now straighten up. Keep your tummy tight, shoulders down, chin tucked. You see how I'm rocking in and back? Okay, I'm doing this on a very unstable surface, okay? But it's only 2 inches. See, if I really wanted to get into those muscles, I would be doing it on a stair drop. That's about a 6-inch deal, okay? At least 6 inches, sometimes 8 inches for a stair, I don't know. Take a breath. Okay, just a couple more. If you've been doing this correctly, and you have not locked your knees, by about now, as I'm going from my heel to my toes, you should be feeling your calves starting to scream just a little. That's what I want for anybody who has joint issues and or recovering from especially a hamstring tear, or, I mean, if you have a tear, it's going to take a lot longer. But if you have just really strained it bad, you have to be very gentle in coming up and down. And you're going to feel this in the calves a lot. Okay, they're part of the whole hamstring mechanism. So you're going to have a little bit up through here. That's what I want. I want a lot more in the calf and a little bit feeling it up here in the hamstring area. Okay, step back, turn the toe out, little recovery. Okay, turn the toe out, little recovery. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to put my gloves on. And those of you doing strength work, anytime you pick up a item, I don't care if it's a weighted ball, a weight, a sack of beans, a can. If you tend to have stiff arthritic type joints, number one, I'd say eat a lot of greens today. They're very healing. I don't care if you get them in a smoothie or if you get them in a salad or if you get them in a stir fry. Do any of those. Do all of those. But if you have painful hand, that's number one. Number two, make sure you're moving them every day. And if you're going to grip something, support it and keep them warm. And that's what gloves do. Okay, so now I'm going to take, and I did the other day, I did a very heavy lift. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to start light. And I'm going to go through. So what I'm going to pick up right now is 2 6s, a 6 and a 6. Okie dokie. And I'm going to put one foot right there in the middle of that little block. Okay, that little pad. And I'm going to do mimic some of the moves that we just did. Okay, now I've made it a little more complicated by stepping into a very compliant pilla. Okay, and then I'm going to come back. So I'm going to do that a couple of times. I'm going to drop my knee in the back. See, right in the middle. Drop my knee. Okay, so what happens is the very first thing somebody wants to do is they put their foot up there in the pilla and they want to lean in. So we may do that later, but not now. Okay, bend that knee. Yeah, we've already practiced it. We already warmed up that mechanism. So the tummy is in nice braced. So bracing is different than pulling in as hard as you can. When you pull in as hard as you can, you tend to turn blue in the face. I want you to breathe. So brace into the core, step into that pilla. I got a 6 and a 6. So it's whatever you picked up. And see, I kind of over and under balanced, right? That's why I stepped out of it. This will throw you. And if you've had injuries or you have joint replacements, you're already compromised. You got to know that. And that's why I'm going to call this stay on balance. And instead of putting the heels on, kick the dang things off. I mean, give me a break. Okay. And Ivanka Trump was supposed to be a physical educator. Okay. But she had to be the model first. And so she made this statement. I said this a while ago. She made a statement that she could do anything better on heels than she could without her heels. I could make a few jokes about that, but I won't. Because it's so sad that at 73 she fell and as a result is now deceased. So that is very sad, but she was only 73 and probably was in pretty good shape. I don't know if she had those heels on when she fell, but whether she did or she didn't, I can show you many studies about the changes that happen in a woman's stance, in her balance, in the way. See, I'm just doing lightweight curls as I'm stepping in, and I am not leaning forward. I am not locking my knees. They are very bent as I step forward. Okay? Tight tummy. Anyway, you only need to spend 5 minutes finding what happens change-wise with an ankle, a leg, a back, when somebody is a habitual wearer of pretty high heels. And you're never going to change, women's minds as long as it's a highly marketed thing to make them look a certain way. But my eyes gloss over when I see, people tottering around on these high heels and they think that's supposed to make them look young. It does not. And you're setting yourself up for falling later in life. Anyway, okay, take a breath, take a breath. Okay, so see how I've stepped in multiple times now with light weights? Yeah? So now I'm going to simply change my stance. I'm going to take a very wide stance. I'm going to turn my toes out, maybe, not much, maybe 45 degrees. Okay, now go at this carefully. So my feet are out a little bit. And as I push my butt back and come down, my knees track right in the same direction as my toes are pointing. So you need to do this. I'm doing this with 12 added pounds. You're doing it with whatever you picked up, okay? And we're gonna go at it just gently at first. So I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna keep my chin tucked, and I'm gonna go down. My knees are pushing in the direction of my toes. Then I come right back here, and then I come right here to the middle, and I say rib cage up. I go down as far as I can as I come back up. It's the same thing. I'm going to push into my heels. I just have my toes out, not more than 45 degrees. About 45 degrees, about perfect. Okay. I'm going to push my butt back. These are my light weights, but they're a 6 and a 6. Okay. When I come into here, right at this point, oh my goodness, I better have my back very extended. How do you do that? You say rib cage up. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. As you're going forward, push into the heels. Push into the heels as you're coming up. Exhaling. Breath. I'm going to do 3 more right here. Push, push, push. Heels, heels, heels. Drop your shoulders, drop your chin. Here we go. Big breath, go down, down, down. Okay. Now, if you're doing this and it's floating pretty good, here's what you got to watch for. Many of us do really fine about here. But then you know what we start doing? We start putting the head down. Do not do that. Drop your butt and then come back. Okay? I got 1 more. Here we go. Heels, 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 drop your butt, heels, 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 back. Nice. Now step in, good. Take a big breath again, in through the nose. Why do I keep telling you that? Because if you will breathe through your nose, in order to get the breath you need, you actually have to do diaphragmatic breathing, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get you to do. So now I'm going to step out on just the floor, okay? I'm stepping out just on the floor, okay? I'm checking my toes. They're pretty straight, yeah? Then I'm going to bend the back knee right down there. I'm going to have these weights right here. I'm going to just pull them back. But I'm going to stay down. Drop your shoulders. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Drop, drop. So this kind of work is the work that needs to happen to prevent you from doing the rounded shoulder shuffle, I call it. Okay? Why? Because as I go down, I bend that back knee, I say rib cage up. Whoa, am I using my legs? Am I using my core? And then when I add my weights and I pull back, I'm using all my stability muscles through my legs, my core, but now I'm pulling in those middle, upper back muscles, as well as arm muscles. Breath. Let's do 2 more here. Breath. Watch your stance. Rib cage up. Drop your chin. Here we go. Knee is going down, 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 down. Pull and back. Okay, now take that back foot up. Take the up foot back. You got it? Okay, we warmed up with this, so you should really have this one down pat. I am not standing on my little, very spongy little pad. I'm on the floor right now. Okie dokie. So here we go. I'm going to bend that back knee. I'm going to come down, 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 down. I'm going to pull back, and now I'm going to turn, and I'm going to go 1 and 2 and drop her down. So now I've just added a little compound move. 2, and I'm doing 1 and 2 and. Why am I doing that? I could do them both. This is light weights, right? Well, I know that I have people here that have osteoporosis in their profile. And when you come into a compound move, if you use too much force, you could fracture. So whereas we're desperate to get people to strength train who have osteoporosis, you really have to be on your game and being trained to prevent some of those moves that might step you into that. Because even this move, see, I'm out here. If I go down, which I am, and I come up and then I put this on together, that might be too much. So I'm going to go 1 and 2 and. And if you are good, you don't have osteoporosis, everything's fine, well, go ahead and do them both together. That's fine. However, some of us need a decent modification, which would be that. One more. Here we go. Keep your chin tucked, breathing in through the nose, keep your shoulders down, and step back up. So it was a whole series there with lightweight. Okay, I'm gonna put that down, and now I'm gonna open my hands, give them a little rest. Okay, I got my little chair here, right? So I'm gonna come right into a wide hip hinge, keep my chin tucked. I'm gonna come down, there's my chair, make sure it's right under you. And I'm gonna sit, okay? So a sit to stand. If you can't remember all this stuff that we went into today, and you can't pull it up on the camera or whatever, just get yourself a good sturdy chair. Use your hands at first. And if you've had an injury, getting up and coming into a sit down, a lot of pressure if you do it right. Okay, there should be pressure, but learn to use your hand to mitigate that easy landing. So after somebody's been to my class for a bit and they've learned how to move, I want them to be able to get up and come into a landing with their own muscles. Meaning, I don't want to jump out of my chair and use momentum. I want to get up and down with control. So as I go down, I really push my butt back. I'll keep my chin tucked. I go into my heels and I come to my sit down, my landing. If, however, you're somebody that is struggling with maybe your joints, you've replaced them and your muscles, you have to just work with them. But generally you can work on those muscles if you do it correctly. But if you have an injury, especially to a hamstring, a quad, a knee, okay, getting up from a sit down position, even if it's this height, big deal. Use your hands right here, drop your shoulders, give a tiny push, and then release. Then push up into those heels and come up. So I'm gonna go back down, I'm gonna push my butt back, I'm coming down, 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 down into the heel, take a big deep breath. I'm telling you, if you promised me that you would get really being an expert at this move, sit to stand, okay? And do it slowly and carefully. Take a breath. In through the nose, out through the nose if possible. Squeeze the gluteals. Here we go. Release. You're coming down. You either cross across your chest or just put it under your chin, however you feel comfortable. If you need your hands to help you to not hurt in a significant knee problem, injury, use your hands. That is acceptable. What's not acceptable is falling into the chair. Okay, that's not acceptable. It will hurt you. It won't help you. So I'm saying if you're there, put your hands back here, go into your heels and come down. And actually, if you start doing these, the whole first set, go ahead and use your hands just to a certain point. And then try not to use them when you don't need them, okay? So as I come up and go down, this is a absolutely foundational move. Now we're gonna go from this move back into the move that I just did with heavier weights, okay? There's a great little, I don't know if anybody of you look, you can't hardly help if you're on the computer at all, you're gonna have different things pop up all the time. So what am I doing setting this up? I just clicked my weights twice. So what does that mean? That means I'm gonna use a very heavy weight, okay? Actually for me a mid-weight, but I'm gonna use both, so that puts me into the heavier weight. So I'm gonna put up, I went from 6 to 12 pounds in one hand and the other hand. If you just want to go up one, or if you don't want to go up, if you're saying that was plenty for me, that's fine, just do that. So I'm going to turn around here and I'm going to do, let me push my chair back a little bit. Okay, I think you can see my feet. Okay, so remember we did this one where first of all I said step wide. So I don't mean just here and then you go like this. No, step wide. Okay, now your toe turns out just a little bit, like 45 degrees. That's it, okay? I have very heavy weights now, right? So I'm gonna bring them, anyway, what I was telling you about is this grandpa, and they're playing one of these very inspirational songs. And it shows him lifting a kettlebell. Okay, well, we're doing that right now. I went to a very heavy weight. You need to really be circumspect about your lineup. I'm not kidding. My toes are out just a bit. As I come into the middle with my weights, my rib cage is up, my knees are going in the same direction as my toes, and then I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna pull it right in here to the chest. And then I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna push my butt back, take a breath. I'm gonna come right here. My butt is so tight right now. Okay, now release, come down, go into the heels. Heels, heels, heels. Now, if you wanna do this with a lighter weight, you can. Some of you need to. If you really wanna feel some work going on, try for your first, I don't know, 3 to 6 lifts. to be pretty darn heavy. Breath into the heels. Right there. Breath in through the nose. And if you feel oxygen hunger, of course, get your breath going into your anything that you can. But where you can, in through the nose, out through the nose. I'm going to turn here to the side so you see what I'm doing. Right there. Okay, I'm wide. My knees are going in the direction of my toes. Here's a little trainer's tip. Do not get into the habit here of rolling to the outside of your feet. I'd let you turn your toe out. Your knees are traveling in the same direction as your toes. Not in more or out more. Same direction. Butts back. Straight, flat back, rib cage. Do not roll your feet. Lift, pull. One last one. Here we go. Open. Breath. Bring it in. Here we go down. Woo. Take a breath. Exhale. Open. Bring it in. Bring it down. Take it down. Heels. Breath. Pull. Here we go. Don't grip tight. Don't grip tight with your hands. Bring them in. Bring it down. Take it down. Take a breath. Heels. Pull. Big breath. Breath. Into the nose. Out of the nose or mouth, whichever you can manage. I got two more. Breath. Heels. Breath. One more. All the way down. Heels. Open. And hold it right here. Hold it tight tummy. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Breath, 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 breath. Down. Woo. Okay. Wrap that. Okay, go to very, very light. I'm going back to my light, which is 6. Open, close, open, close, open, close. Grab, grab. Ooh. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here to my chair again. Do you remember the sit to stand thing? Yeah. I'm just going about it a little differently. Okay, so here I am in front of my chair. I've opened my feet wider than the chair. Okay, take a look, adjust. Take your toes out just a tiny bit. Now, as you go down, make sure your knees are traveling in the same direction as your toes, okay? You got light weights. Put them right here. Go down, shift, sit, and stand. Take a breath. Here we go. Push the butt back, tuck your chin. Make sure you don't drift. Make sure you don't drift into the front of the foot. Okay, you want to stay into the heels. You're coming down, heels, breath, heels, press. Squeeze tight. Here we go. Push that butt back. Come down. And heels and stand. Okay? Now, again, if any of this starts to feel not a good feel. Let's say you've ripped a hamstring or whatever. Not ripped it, but strained it. Okay, you know where you start thinking, oh, I've got to be careful now. You know. So if that's you, what do? You put the weights down first. See? And you go, I'm going to get to where I can do sit to stands a good 3 set of 10. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to work you into. Some of you've noticed that. Kathy wants to scream how many we've done. I know. Okay, basically, okay, you go back down if you're having a problem and you use your hands and you get to where you can use your hands and finish the set. That's how you improve without overdoing. But if you're not there and you're good to go with your weights, now we're going to start doing compound moving. We're going to be going out right there. We're going to go in. We're going to come up. We're going to come here. We're going to go 1 and 2 and pull back down. Here we go. Heels. Drop my chin, line myself up, rib cage up. 1 and 2 and back down. Heels. Pull, push, squeeze your butt. 1 and 2 and heels. Woo. Here we go. Back up, up. 1 and 2 and bring them down. Take a big deep breath. Walk over. So now we've recovered. See, I let you pick up those stinking little light weights to help you recover. That's why I did that for. Now I'm going to go up. And I'm going to go up past my 12. So I'm going to pick up 15 now, okay? So my moves will be conducive to 15s for me. So what that means for you, if you just pick this whole thing up, strength work, you do the heavier one for the first couple lifts, then you put it down and go back down and finish what we're doing at the lighter weight, okay? That's how you do it. Okay, so here I am now. Now I've pushed myself up to 15s and 15s. Okie dokie. We're just about right on our time frame. Okay, before we pick those up, I'm going to step forward and back. I'm going to be stretching that back leg, but I'm going to just do a hug right here in a split stance. Drop my shoulders. Open, down, take a big deep breath. Now I'm going to take the front leg and I'm going to go back, okay? Now, typically I might bring the back leg forward. If you're in this position and you're going to take this front foot back this far, actually I've seen this happen before. Somebody will do a big back rotation, momentum, use momentum, and they'll try to and jerk their back in order to bring this leg back. That is wrong. You don't want to do that. So retrain yourself. Drop your shoulders. Punch the front foot a little. And then back. And you don't have to whack your back out of position. Try it with the other leg. Okay? Go really far forward. Okay? My back foot, number one, is straight. Okay? Front foot straight. Now I'm going to bring this front foot back. And you must say to yourself, wow, why is she spending so much time on that kind of a thing? This is everything. Because I'm going to be doing this with 30 pounds in just 1 second. Okay? So if I want to get back with 30 pounds added to me, I'm going to tighten, drop, punch, and then bring it back. Okay, so that it's done through the legs. So anybody trying to recover from a hamstring pull, a groin pull, back issue, replace joints, this is the technique so that you don't get yourself in trouble. Okay, step into the arena. Yeah, so I'm going to step wide again. Remember this? We've practiced it, haven't we? Yes, we have. So I'm going to step wide and I'm going to turn my toes out seriously 45 degrees. See, this is straight on, 180, 180. I'm going to turn out just 45 degrees, that much. That's it. But I'm wide. That's the thing you should hear. And as I go down, I say rib cage up. And what do? I push into my whole foot, but especially my heel. I keep my chin tucked. I'm gonna go down and grab me one weight, then grab me the other weight. Now I'm gonna push into the heels, push up. I'm gonna pull and open. Don't grip too much in your hands. Wave to me. Breath, bring it in. One down, the other down. Take her down into the heels. Okay, push into the heels. Now drop your butt right now. Drop your butt. Some of you have dropped your head. Don't do that. Drop your butt. Come in. Pull. Pull. Open. Big breath. Come in. Down. Down. Now let that weight carry you down into the heels. Okay, drop your butt just one more inch. Take a big breath. Bring it up. Push into the heels. One up, other up. Open. Take a breath and go 1, 2, 3, 4. In, down, all the way down into the heels. Big breath. Into the nose, heels, drop your butt. Pull. Open. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and bring them in. Down, down, down. Okay, let them settle there for a minute. Push into your heels, come up. Swing your hands, soft knees, soft knees. This is our little recovery swing. Big breath. Drop your shoulders. Breath. Drop your shoulders. Breath. Drop your shoulders. Shake out, shake out, shake out. Now, we're going to change up stuff. Now we're going to come back to this. Okay, but I'm going to take one leg and go back with it. Okay, just like we've done a whole bunch this morning. Okay, I'm going to lean in. I'm going to act like, man, can I pick that up? And then when I get down there and I grab the weight and I feel how heavy it is, I go, no, I don't think I will. You see that? Hip hinge, drop your shoulders, split stance. I'm coming down with my back knee, very bent. See this? I'm turning, I'm touching the weight, acting like I'm going to pick it up, but I do not. Okay? And I might do that 2 or 3 times, which I just did 2. I want to get through the sequence. Okay, I'm changing. I'm going to go back with my other leg. See that? Split stance. A little wider if you're having balance issues, and or put your chair by your hand. That's okay. Okay, shoulders down, bend the knee. Now you're going to turn toward the front foot. See, as I go down, I'm turning, I'm coming down. I'm going, can I pick that up? I grab it and I go, no, I don't think I will. See that? Okay, breath, drop your shoulders. Here we go. Bend, 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 bend. Turn, act like you're going to pick it up, but you do not. And you come back. You might do it another couple of times. Okay? That's a very functional move that we just did. Okay? Now, step back into the arena. See? I let you rest. Enough rest. Okay, here we go. I know you want to slap me, but you can't because you're out there. I'm here with my 2 dogs. Okay, here we go. Drop your chin. Okay, I'm going into my heels. Do not roll your foot. You've got to stay on all 4 corners of your foot while pressing a little more into the heel. That's the point, okay? I got 15 pounds in each hand. So I'm managing all this move with added 30 pounds. So you got to be careful. Here we go, down. Toes are pulled out, 45 degrees. Here I am. I'm going to go to the side here as I'm up. I'm going to pull. I'm going to pull. I'm standing my ground here. How do I do that? My knees are soft. My butt's pushed out just a little. My shoulders are down. I go, ah. Then I come into that hip back position. And I have my arms right here. And then I pull my shoulders in. And I hang out here for a second. I bring it in. I go back. I bring it in. I go back. You should feel the middle upper back between the shoulder blades. Squeezing and releasing. Squeezing and releasing. Push into your heels. Duh. Breath. 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 Okay, bring them down now. Bring them down. Hang out down here and just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Drop your butt. Drop your butt. Don't put your head lower than your butt. And put them down. And come back. Woo! Walk out. Just like that. Just like we started. Step, 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 up, step, 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 knee up, step, 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 knee up, step, 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 knee up. Notice I'm not coming very far. I'm doing a step, 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 knee up, step, step, step. Breathing in, exhaling, trying to breathe in through the nose. Breath, 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 breath. Okay, we got time for one more big move. And here's the big move. Here is the big move. Okay. That's a good move. It's the move that's on that little recording. If you tag in, I don't know what you put it in. Some of those tiki-taki things or YouTube, whatever. I don't know. Grandpa lifting a kettlebell. I don't know. I just thought that was one of the best things I've seen in a long time. Anyway, because it showed a progression. That's what we did today, progressions. So here's my weight. I'm not going to pick both of them up. I'm going to pick one of them up, okay? So I'm going to step wide. I'm going to come down. And when I go to reach to get the weight, I'm going to go down a little lower and then bring it up. I'm going to lace my fingers around my one heavier weight, and I'm going to bring it into my chest. Now tighten in your tummy, tighten heels, and I'm going to push it up just to my forehead at first, and then come back down. You can go all the way down. For time, I want to really make you understand that when you bring at least any kind of a weight, but especially when you get up past 10 pounds and you go to push up, you got to have everything going correctly for your back, for your shoulders, for your strength. So I'm just doing it little by little. And if you wanted to do it with a very light weight, that's what I would encourage you to do. 1, you bring it here. 2, you bring it here. Kind of like you want to lift a grandchild up and play with them. You bring them up and you bring them up. You want the strength to be able to do that. Okay, that's why I'm doing this. Not because it's, oh, I want to, no, I want to play with my grandkids. I want to be able to be strong enough to bring a 15-pound weight, breath, and back down. Breath, and back down. So I bring it up to the forehead, and then up and back down. Breath, shoulders down, tight tummy. Here we go. I got 3 more. Breath. 2 more. Breath. 1 more. Here we go. Woo! And back down. And then you can go ahead and rack your weights. What you need all to do every time you're done using weights. Your grandkids around, take them up to 18. So, recap. Okay, we did some very specific ankle and leg loads and movements. As I'm talking, just do this. See how this shifting is going with my straight legs straight here? I'm walking like a stick man. Yeah, I get a little turn up through my chest, but I'm going out to the side. Okay, so I'm doing this on the heels of learning the news that in fact a 73-year-old, probably in pretty good shape, woman, Ivana Trump, fell and is now deceased. Falling is a big deal. And I'm telling you, if some of those, any of these moves was pushing you, and it should have, I did very specific things involving your feet, your shifting, progression of weight, etc. If you know someone or yourself who has been a persistent high heel wearer, by virtue of that, you have changed the way you walk because your ligaments and tendons and muscles have shortened in your calf. That's just a fact, okay? Anyway, so this is to bring everything into play, to do things better and to not do those kind of falls. Okay, let me take it off.